So be good for goodness sake. Oh,
Kid Behind a Camera and Angry Grandpa are not what they seem. If you're not familiar with Angry Grandpa and Kid Behind a Camera, they're best known for their freak-out videos. You know, Angry Grandpa will get mad at Kid Behind a Camera, aka Michael, and he'll freak out and destroy some of his stuff like he's destroying this PS4 right now. And it's all kind of framed as a joke. You know, we're all in on it. We know that Angry Grandpa's not actually this angry, and this destruction of property is only going to get them tons of views, and whatever money that they make off of AdSense is going to heavily outweigh the price of that destroyed PS4. But I think that all of this anger and destruction comes from a very real place, and we have a lot of evidence to back that up here today. And before we get into the gritty details, the evidence of abuse that has occurred on these channels, and what I believe to be the psychology behind why you would broadcast this to the internet, I would just like to give a major shout out to Primink, because if I had not seen his video, Kid Behind a Camera, The Untold Abuse Story, I would have no idea what was going on here. It's an amazing video, and I highly recommend you check it out. Also, Roasted Studios created a compilation of abuse that has occurred at the hands of Kid Behind a Camera and Angry Grandpa, and that video that she created was actually removed for community guidelines violations. And there are theories that that was Kid Behind the Camera flagging that video to try and cover up the truth, but those are just theories. There's no way to prove that, and there will be links to Primink's video and Roasted Studios channel in the description. But let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Let's get into the disgusting behavior that has been displayed by both Angry Grandpa and Kid Behind a Camera. And I just wanted to establish really quickly that all of these clips are from like 2011 and before, which is just a thing to note. What you're about to see is a clip of an Angry Grandpa Christmas freakout, and if you're familiar with the Angry Grandpa channel, this is not at all out of character. They do these every single year, but this is a very different Angry Grandpa that you might not be familiar with, and I will warn you, actual abuse does occur in this clip. It's not severe, but it is there, and they decided to broadcast it to their YouTube channel.
Throw shit at me! Throw shit back! You don't throw nothing at your goddamn bottle! You understand me? You don't gotta be a queer!
What?
A queer! He ain't queer! He ain't goddamn queer!
I keep putting that person back.
Shit. I'm tired of shit. All y'all ever do is buy them gay shit. Fuck you, man. This goddamn, I'm part of crust. Whoa! No! Goddamn.
So as you can see, he calls the kid homophobic slurs over and over again, and then throws packages at him, and then throws a toy truck at him. And I'm not sure if the kid that was hit by the Christmas tree was the same child or another grandchild of Angry Grandpa, but it's disgusting behavior. I mean, clearly there's a problem here. And I think it's important to note that what we're seeing here, and there's way more to go over in this video, is just what they felt comfortable sharing with us on YouTube. I can't imagine what's going on behind the scenes that they don't feel comfortable showing us. And I think one of the biggest reasons why they felt comfortable sharing this footage with us on YouTube is that abuse was normalized in this household. You're about to hear two of the stories of two of Angry Grandpa's children, Michael, Kid Behind a Camera, and Jessica, his daughter, about their stories of abuse at the hands of Angry Grandpa, and they tell these stories as if they're like funny, nostalgic experiences. It's super disturbing, and let's hear what they have to say.
And Dad's like, I said shut the fuck up! And he takes this jar and he throws it. And my sister ducks. And then here I am. And it crashes in my fucking face.
So yeah, holy shit, that's a lot to unpack. Michael was hit in the face with a glass jar thrown at him by Angry Grandpa, and he's laughing about it. I mean, yes, maybe the imagery in retrospect could be funny, especially since it happened to you, and maybe you're just trying to, like, not think about how fucked up that is, but that is not normal whatsoever. Like, yeah, I know back in the day when these guys were growing up, it was, like, normal to spank your kid, maybe, maybe, smack them in the face if they're getting really out of line, but throwing a glass jar at a child is never normal. That is not okay in any time in history. And normally I'd feel super bad for Michael, and I do feel bad for the child version of Michael, but the problem was he was a victim of abuse, and then he became the abuser himself. And once you become the abuser, you are no longer a victim. You're the person that is going to be creating another victim that could then become an abuser themselves, and it's just a vicious cycle. Like, I would bet all my money in the world that Angry Grandpa was probably also abused horrifically as a child. But let's hear what Jennifer has to say, because it's equally disturbing.
It was so freezing because I was always like this skinny little thing, and I never had any meat on my bones. So what I would do is I would take my blanket and go and turn up the heat like full blast. And then one day my dad finally got tired of it, and I was laying on the air vent, and all of a sudden all I hear was, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Stupid fucking bitch." And then like daddy just like kicks the shit out of me. I'm sorry that I'm cussing, but this is what happens. And then, my dad like kicks the shit out of me and then yanks the blanket off of me and says, "Goddamn bitch, Jenny," picks me up and throws me against the wall. Legs go flying, arms go this way and go that way. I was like, holy fucking shit. And then, so, my dad, this was back when he was, mean and drunk, I know, he didn't mean to do it. It was just the alcohol talking.
This is really just such a sign of how normalized this abuse is, that she's apologizing to us for cursing in a story about her father horrifically abusing her, like kicking the shit out of your child, like actually kicking your kid while they're on the ground and then throwing them against a wall. That's absolutely disgusting. Alcohol is not an excuse for that. Alcoholism is not an excuse for that. That is horrific behavior, and that is a sign of just a prolific abuser, and I'm absolutely disgusted to hear these stories, especially how nonchalantly they're telling them. Nonchalantly, I'm not sure if that's a word, but I'm just really fucking angry right now. And moving on from the abuse at the hands of Angry Grandpa, which is a touchy subject because Angry Grandpa passed away a year ago and he's like a World War II vet and stuff, and thank you for your service. I'm sorry that you're dead. Rest in peace. But also, you abused your children and grandchildren, and therefore I am not a fan of you, sir. But let's move on to the abuse at the hands of Michael, kid behind a camera. Now, forgive me because all of this is going to be disgusting, but I'm going to show the first clip that we showed at the beginning of this video because I think it's the most damning piece of evidence, but everything that you're about to see is just absolutely disgusting. I keep saying disgusting, but I just can't think of another word for this sort of behavior.
He's making a list. So be good for goodness sake.
So yes, he pushes this child that can't be older than 2 or 3 years old by his face onto the ground, which is just, why the fuck would you do that and upload it to YouTube? I mean, I'm kind of glad that he uploaded it to YouTube so we can have some insight into the horrible world that exists in this household. And then he goes for the foot on the face, kind of reminiscent of A Christmas Story when Santa pushes the kid down the slide by his face with his foot. But it's just, when it's happening to a 2-year-old kid and you can see his head like snapping backwards, it's just, why? Why are you doing this to such a small child? What's going through your head? Genuinely, my only guess is that he thought this was funny. He thought that people were going to laugh at this. Oh, there's funny Christmas music in the background. Oh, I'm pushing my child onto the ground. I'm putting my foot into my child's face aggressively. Isn't this so silly? Aren't I a comedic genius? God damn it. And the next set of clips that we're going to look at all comes from the Life with Mikey show channel, which is a second or third channel that Kid Behind a Camera created, where he dresses up as Michael Myers and pretty much just scares the shit out of his small nephews, and it gets physical as well, and it's just, ugh.
Life with Mikey, good life, good times. Life with Mikey, good times.
Can I please get out, please? Not until it gets dark.
that I had left his loss.
Hey Jay, wanna see what we're getting Papa for Christmas? Huh?
I slapped him, then poked him, still he's sleeping. I hell, yes I'll go to hell and chill with Kurt Cobain himself.
And I just wanted to point out a couple things about these clips. I mean, obviously physical stuff happened, but look how terrified this kid is. He looks so on edge. And then the voice that comes out of his mouth when he gets sprayed with this, it's like, it's not just that he's getting sprayed with silly string, I don't think. It's that he's legitimately in fear of what's going to happen next, of what Michael Myers is going to do to him next. It's just so freaky. And then it's just the idea of him coming up behind this kid with a knife and then pulling back as if he's going to stab his nephew. I can't imagine putting that sort of fear into my fucking small nephew. What is wrong with Michael Green? And then here's sort of a different clip that kind of lends some context to the relationship between Michael and Angry Grandpa. Michael creeps up on Grandpa intending to scare him with the Michael Myers mask, and it does not go the way he intended.
Motherfucker! You want to scare me? Let me scare you, okay?
Okay.
You don't fuck with me, motherfucker. You might get away with that goddamn youngin', but you ain't getting away with that. I'll cut your goddamn throat.
And even though this is all framed as a prank, I think I heard genuine fear in Michael's voice when Angry Grandpa started coming at him with that knife. When he stuck his hand out and was like, okay, like, you could tell he was kind of afraid of what could possibly happen next. And regardless of if it's a prank or a joke or whatever, the kid was super freaked out by this. Michael's nephew starts crying, he gets upset, and Angry Grandpa's like yelling at him for some reason as well.
I'm gonna give you to him.
Jimmy! Jimmy! Buddy, it's Bubba! Buddy! Come here!
And the question is, when will Michael realize that this has gone too far? This kid is freaking out, and you're still wearing the Michael Myers mask. You're like, oh, see my tattoos. It's me, Bubba. Take off the goddamn mask and stop freaking these children out. And the next clip that you're about to see, I know that everything we've seen today has been extremely disturbing and uncomfortable to watch, but in this clip, he forces these kids to play violent video games. I don't know, maybe they wanted to. I always wanted to play violent video games as a kid, but they always freaked me out, and so he makes them play violent video games, and then he locks them in the room after they start not being comfortable with what has just happened in the game.
Michael!
Buddy, what happened? You can go.
And that clip is just so uncomfortable because you can legitimately feel the imprisonment that that kid cannot get out of that room, even though he desperately wants to. And Michael tells him, you can get out, you can leave, even though he can't fucking open the door. And the questions that I'm left with at the end of this are, why would Michael Green do this and put it on YouTube? And what do we do about it now that we have this information? And I think as far as the why is concerned, it's very simple. He was desperate for content and he has no conscience whatsoever. I think I can pinpoint like exactly what was going through Michael's mind, at least when he was creating the Michael Myers videos. There's no excuse or explanation whatsoever for pushing his 2-year-old nephew on the ground and putting his shoe in his 2-year-old nephew's face. That's just something that I think he thought was funny, and his sense of humor does not connect with any of us in that scenario. But as far as the Michael Myers videos are concerned, I think he thought, hey, people like seeing people get scared on YouTube, but adults, they're not going to really be freaked out by the Michael Myers thing. They know that it's not real, but children, they'll really be in fear for their lives when they see this guy rolling up on them with a freaking knife. And it just never crossed his mind the damage that he would be doing to these children in the process. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think that Angry Grandpa was probably abused. Abuse was normalized in his mind, and we have words out of Michael's mouth saying that he was abused probably pretty severely by Angry Grandpa throughout his childhood, normalizing abuse, and then he just decided to pass that on to the next generation, which is completely unacceptable, and I'm not sure if it's forgivable or not. I don't know if people can get better after they've done horrible things like this and broadcast them to YouTube. It's really important to note, and I already said this earlier in the video, that this is just what they're showing us on the internet for everybody to see. And then we get to, what do we do now that we have this information? Like, what becomes of Kid Behind a Camera? I mean, obviously, Angry Grandpa is dead. He's not alive for us to put on trial, but what should we do about this abuse that we know that Kid Behind a Camera has inflicted upon his nephews? And the best thing that I think we can do as a person that really does not know what to do personally about Michael, like, do you call child services? What do you do about this? I think we can spread awareness, maybe get it in the hands of somebody who does know what to do, like Philip DeFranco. He was the first person that came to mind because he handled that Daddy-O5 situation so well. And obviously there's a lot of comparisons between Kid Behind a Camera and Daddy-O5. That's why I put it in the title. But something that's concerning is I do know that Kid Behind a Camera is friends with Philip DeFranco, and that might add some complications to this whole situation. I've been trying to get in contact with Boogie2988 all week on Twitter, or I've done a couple tweets at him. I didn't want to be like super obnoxious about it, but I've been tagging him and stuff, trying to get his attention because I know that he is a victim of abuse as a child, and I thought that this would be something that, like, you know, he could relate to, and maybe he would want to like get behind this cause of kind of exposing this horrible abuse that nobody seemed to notice. And Boogie has just completely ignored my tweets. I know he's a busy guy, he's a giant YouTuber, so why would he pay attention to somebody like me? But I just thought that if I could post, like, I posted a video of that kid getting pushed down by his face and having the shoe shoved in his face in a comment reply to one of Boogie's tweets about going to collaborate with Kid Behind a Camera, and he didn't notice it. I'm not sure if he saw it and just ignored it, or if he just didn't notice it because he's a super busy guy. I'm not going to throw Boogie under the bus, but it would be really nice if he would pay attention to this and just the cause in general. And I'm not like saying spread awareness, like spread this video, make it go viral, because one, I'm not going to monetize this video. I can't even monetize videos. I'm not a YouTube partner. But if I was, I would not put fucking ads on this video in any fucking universe that you could exist in. But if you want to make your own video about this, please do. If you want to spread Primink's video or this video, you can do that. Just try and get it in front of the eyes of somebody who can actually like make a difference here and would know what to do in this situation, because I'm just kind of sitting here not knowing what to do other than just point out what is going on. And because there's a good chance that this video could be taken down by community guidelines strike or copyright strike, since other videos trying to expose this stuff, that has happened to in the past, that's why I encourage you guys to make your own videos if this is something that you're passionate about. Tweet at the people that can make a difference, like Boogie2988, McJuggernuggets, Philip DeFranco, Keemstar, all of which are friends with Michael Kid Behind a Camera, but I feel like if they have the information in front of their face over and over and over again, they can't ignore it forever. So do whatever you can if this is something that makes you want to make a difference and do something about this situation. Skate on, rollerbladers. I hope you're drinking more water, and I'm going to take a fucking break from this topic because I've been obsessed with this for the past week. I can't get my mind off of it. So be careful out there, guys, and don't ignore abuse.